The first noble truth of Buddhism is that Dukkha is. And usually, if you're in a world religions class or something, this is expressed as life is suffering. But life is suffering doesn't really capture it. Dukkha, which is a word in Pali, the language that the Buddha taught in, literally means a wheel that is wonky on its axle, a wheel out of truth. And it's a metaphor for a sense that it's not right, it feels off. And the First Noble Truth doesn't say life is dukkha, but it says dukkha is. It's part of what life is. I insist on sharing this quote from Zen Roshi that I love, even though I think it's really hard to understand when you hear it spoken. So I'll say it again, but slowly. When your heart and mind are not full of the Dharma, it feels complete. When your heart and mind are full of the Dharma, it does not feel complete. The first noble truth is that the way that it really is does not feel right. I used to work in a university, and that university did all kinds of like super shady stuff that really pissed me off. The way that the students were treated, the way that money was collected. I see other teachers nodding. There's like, yeah, just the policies were abominable and it was infuriating. And I was doing so much work. I actually asked Sig to help me learn to code so that I could use the data to show the administration how bad what they were doing really was. And I would make PowerPoint presentations and I would like make Excel spreadsheets and I would go to the administration and say, look how wrong this is. What we're doing is so wrong. And soon the administration learned like not to take my calls. Or people would be like, oh, yeah, we'll look into that. And it was so infuriating to me that even when I was not at work, it's not that I was always enraged about it, but it's that I was always right next to enraged about it. You know when your bike tire is right by the trolley track and you might just go in, like that was me all the time. I was just an inch away from going chunk into the trolley track of total rage and overwhelm all the time. And then this new administrator came to the university and said what I still consider one of the kindest and most brutal things to me because she was new. And I was like, look at my spreadsheets, look at the information. And she said, oh, you're right. And it doesn't matter. You're right. And it doesn't matter. Ugh, it stings. And it was true. The second noble truth tells us that the cause of dukkha is desire. The way things are is not inherently bad. It feels off, but it's not inherently off. It just is. The thing that makes it feel off is that we want it to be different than it is. The cause in Buddhism of suffering. So to carry the metaphor, whenever I hear dukkha is a wheel out of truth, I can't help but think of a shopping cart. You know, when you get a shopping cart with a wonky wheel and you're like, oh, I don't know, life feels meaningless. So if you have a shopping cart with a wheel that doesn't work, you tend to think this shopping cart is bad and I want another one. But It's only broken because of how you want it to be. You want it to glide effortlessly through the grocery store aisles. If you were looking for it to do something else, like maybe make crazy patterns or keep from going too quickly, then it would be just fine. The negative judgment of the cart comes from the difference between how it is and how you want it to be. And that's okay, but it's important to understand that relationship. The dissatisfaction of life, the dukkha of it, comes from the difference between how it is and how we want it to be. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately as I spend more time doing couples therapy. Because one of the places where we suffer the most with this is with other people. Most of the couples I work with, luckily, both like and love each other. And they chose each other on purpose. Not always, but usually that's the case. And as therapy progresses, it often becomes clear that the suffering in the relationship is not about who a person is or what a person does, but about what their partner longs for. There's a real, some of you work with me, so we've had this conversation, but there's a real bell of mindfulness for me that brings this to my attention when it's happening between people. And that bell of mindfulness is, why can't you just... So many of us have some version of this with people that we want to be in relationship with. Why can't you just... And it reveals so much about us. Why can't you just love me the way I want to be loved? Why can't you just love me the way I need to be loved? It causes us so much pain, especially since often part of what we want is not to have to explain what the person needs to do. Once we have to explain it, it doesn't even feel worth it anymore. A partner in couples therapy will say, why can't you just care for me when I'm sad? And the other partner will say, I thought I was. I listened to you. I bring you little treats. I help you think through what to do. And the first partner will say something like, no, I mean, care about me. Actually care about me. And then the second partner is at a loss. This is dukkha. And there's a beautiful opportunity for clear seeing here. What do we actually want? And if we want something that is impossible, isn't that suffering? And if it's suffering, doesn't it serve compassion? My thing is, I always want people to listen to me. No, I want them to really listen to me. No, I want you to really listen. Not like that. I want you to really listen. And I'm never satisfied. And the more I love you, the more the way you listen is not enough. And because I'm a proactive person, I start trying to teach in intricate detail just how to listen to me. And I am a very good teacher, but it never works. Either the person can't get it right, or the rightness is tainted by the fact that I had to tell them how to do it. Because I've come to realize it's not that I want the person to listen to me, not in a way that is actually humanly possible. It's that I want to not feel lonely. I want the loneliness of being a person not to be like it is. And still, I am very attached to the delusion that the reason I feel lonely like this is because other people are doing it wrong. I don't get stuck in resentment. I'm ready to help. I have believed so hard that I can teach people to free me from my suffering, that I am a professional therapist who teaches interpersonal communication. And yet, And so I empathize so hard with people in couples therapy who have found someone to love, and in rushing toward that person, they have slid right past them into attachment. Not to the person as they really are, but to the idea that the person might be able to end their suffering. I have a colleague who calls this trauma butterflies. The kind of attraction that at a gut level says, maybe this person can make can make whole the parts of me that aren't whole, or this person can make right the parts of me that aren't right. And it leads to a very specific kind of disappointment. Why can't you just love me in a way that makes it impossible for me to doubt myself? Why can't you just comfort me in a way that obliterates my sadness? Why can't you just load the dishwasher in a way that makes it clear I will never be abandoned? It's funny, and it's poignant. And to me, it is such a good place to study desire and freedom from desire. Attachment and freedom from attachment. Why can't they just? Is a good question to bring us towards self-compassion. It's a straight road towards seeing what we long for that isn't available. What do I want to be true that isn't? What is it like to want that, to long for that? It's not wrong to want things. There's a difference between desire and attachment. Desire is just wanting. Attachment is not being able to disentangle from the grip of wanting in a way that causes suffering. Sharon Salzberg tells this story about the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama goes to visit a monastery that maintains itself by selling, making and selling wonderful cheese and cake. Cheese and cake is what this monastery makes. And so the Dalai Lama goes to visit, and then later he speaks to the assembly of monks, and the Dalai Lama says, someone gave me a piece of cheese, and it was great, but I really wish someone had given me a piece of cake, because I really like cake. And the Dalai Lama is laughing as he tells this story, and the laughter is because he sees his own attachment. And because he sees it for what it is, there's freedom in it. There are some of us, I'm not saying me, but probably me, there are some of us in that monastery who would be like, oh, what didn't they offer me cake? Seriously? They have cake. Why didn't they? The Dalai Lama was able to see, oh, it's so funny. I want cake, but also to be free from attachment to cake. A compassionate laugh is so good. Oh dear, this is not what I want. Oh, ouch. One of my favorite feelings. But it's not always cake. Sometimes it is the deepest, most personal desire that lives all the way in our bones. But it is so freeing to know what's mine and what is actually the other person. When we're really caught up in the why can't you just, it's so much deep pain. We might notice that we're really trying to find the avenue to make the other person be or behave in a way that takes that pain away. And some of those avenues from the outside, if you're not in it, if you're not in the pain, some of those avenues seem absurd. We rush towards the person, we pull back, we criticize or we ice them out, we forgive until our resentment is overwhelming. We act the way we want them to act as a model. These ways feel, for some reason, like they might work, but they don't work still, this longing. Sometimes I will remind someone in couples therapy, you don't have to do this. You don't have to be in this relationship if not getting this thing is too painful for you, which usually makes the person so mad at me. Isn't it the therapist's job to make the partner do the thing? Isn't it the therapist's job to teach the partner to be a partner correctly? And sometimes people will gently and eventually see that their partner can't just do the thing, that it's not possible. And they get freed up to be with the person they are actually with. And in some cases, that is really great. Free from the attachment to the impossible thing, they find that they actually quite enjoy the thing they have. It's not always that way. Sometimes when we let go of the attachment that the person could be different, we realize the thing we have is actually not so good for us. And sometimes the person isn't a romantic partner, but a parent or a sibling or a coworker. And there's nothing we can do but grieve the thing that is not going to happen. You're right, and it doesn't matter. But even in that grief is freedom. Rather than staying at the bedside of the comatose patient of our desire, of our attachment, we can let it die and properly grieve it. This is taking refuge in the Dharma. Because it's sad, really, that a person that we love can't just make us whole or happy or confident. It might be nice if that were a gift we could give to each other. Or it might not. We'd probably always wonder, does this person love me or what I can give them? Desire is not wrong. Desire is an important part of being a person. Disentangling attachment and desire can bring a little freedom, or sometimes a lot. Let's sit with that for a minute.